Anti-gun laws kill. And we no longer have to discuss whether or not they are decent or whether or not they're lifesavers or whether or not the people in Moms Demand Action or Michael Bloomberg or any of these other groups are doing us any favors. They are not. As a matter of fact, the people who push for the kind of quote-unquote common sense gun laws that they claim to be in favor of need to take a long look in the mirror. Tony Katz, 93 WIBC on Facebook, Tony Katz Radio. Be sure to like the page. There was a shooting in Virginia Beach. And 12 people? Was it 12 people who were murdered in Virginia Beach? It's less than a month ago. You don't see it anywhere. It's like the news media forgot the story altogether. It was May 31st. It was less than 2 weeks ago. Or 2 weeks to the button. 12 people are dead, and the entirety of media has stopped talking about this story. Clearly, it didn't fit narrative. It didn't fit narrative because the shooter, whose name I will not use, was black, because it wasn't an AR-15 or any other type of long gun. No, it was a handgun. And whatever the reason is, the narrative doesn't fit here. A guy who had resigned that day and then decided to shoot the place up that later afternoon, who had been known to others as a potential problem, which brings us to the story of Kate Nixon, as reported by PilotOnline.com. Kate Nixon, according to sources, had a conversation with her husband, Jason, about whether or not she should take a pistol and hide it in her handbag. That, according to Kevin Martingale, who is the attorney for Kate Nixon. Kate Nixon was killed in the shooting. She was killed in the shooting. And she decided not to bring her weapon because there's a city policy that prevents employees from bringing their weapons to work. Anti-gun laws kill. These gun-free zones kill. This is destructive policy that has to come to an end. We want to talk about why people are shooting each other. I'm in. You want to talk about mental health and mental illness? I'm in. Background checks, we already have them. Thank you very much. Gun registries, that's about control of the government. Count me out. That's about government deciding you've had enough or you've had too many. Many law-abiding citizens out there shouldn't be subject to the government because somebody else does something horrific. But in all cases, you should be able to protect and defend yourself and the ones that you love, and no law anywhere at any time should prevent you from doing just that. Those laws should be repealed or ignored. I've said this before about your place of worship. If you show up to your church or your synagogue unarmed, you're more than welcome to. It's your right not to carry a firearm. But if your pastor or if your rabbi or if your faith leader says you can't carry a firearm, you need to fire that faith leader, or you need to find another church, synagogue, or place of worship. Because the idea that these places will tell you that you're not allowed to have a firearm is absolutely detrimental to the lives of everybody involved. I make no grand gesture or grand statement to the idea that if this woman had been armed, nothing would have happened. Oh, something could have happened. Something probably would have happened. But instead of a dozen people being dead, maybe only 4. Now, you could say to me, but Tony, 4. And I'll say to you, I don't disagree. But it wouldn't have been 12. You have the opportunity to stop people. You have the opportunity to be safe. She didn't bring a gun because of the policy, and she is dead. Could she have saved herself? It's a question I don't have an answer for. This was a conversation that happened on a radio show on WHRV. That's where this interview with the lawyer took place. Hearsay with Kathy Lewis is the name of the radio show. These anti-gun laws kill. They do. Now, nothing is responsible except for this guy who decided to engage this shooting. But this guy was well known enough to someone like Kate Nixon that she talked to her husband about bringing a gun to work because of concerns. No city policy, no city law should ever stop you from being proactive in your defense. But make sure you're trained. Make sure you understand that when you shoot, you got to know where what the target and what lies behind it. There are rules. You want to get with people who know what they're doing, and you want to learn from them, and you want to take the time to train and to practice and to know these rules. But laws of any kind and organizations of any kind that think you're better off not bringing a firearm, that actually believe in gun-free zones, anti-gun laws kill. Case presented, case closed. I'm Tony Katz.
24/7